Hey, Ezra Miller's back in the news. This time it's, Care of Variety. Looking at this, actually, that's probably the least offensive picture I've seen of Ezra Miller in a long time. There's no, extravagant eye makeup or anything like that, but now his grooming accusations are going world motherfucking wide. Like, this is the deranged pit bull. Or at least, in his case, more or less like a horny chihuahua. In the spring of 2020, this COVID crisis was rapidly becoming a global pandemic. Ugh, Variety, save me. Ezra Miller began wearing out his welcome in Iceland. Yeah, no, in case you didn't read the headline, because I just kind of glossed over it, Ezra Miller accused of harassing woman in Germany. And the Iceland choking victim breaks her silence. Interesting. That was the choke slam in the back alley, okay, where it kind of looked like maybe it was a collaborative effort or something like that. Maybe it was planned. Maybe it was a fan event, because that was, I think, the first accusation against Ezra Miller at the time, and it's like, it just kind of looks like a goofy fan interaction, if you wanted to interpret it that way. But now with everything else coming out, it looks like maybe that wasn't quite so reciprocal of an interaction. But we'll hear from her, and you know what, hey, I'll just play it by ear, because, yeah, some recent videos have worked me up about just baseless accusations, so we will just wait a second on that one. The actor best known for being hired by Zack Snyder, who stupid people continue to prop up as being a revolutionary filmmaker. Yes, dark jury backgrounds with slow motion and rain. Very, very cinematic. Ugh. The DC superhero, The Flash, in several films from Warner Brothers. Several films. One's in the can right now, which is probably never going to get released. That is The Flash. And then he was also in Justice League. I don't know. Did he have a cameo in Batman v Superman or something like that? Oh yeah, no, he did. I remember seeing some of those videos where, yeah, no, he wasn't actually there in the flesh, but it was a recording played on a video. So yeah, no, I guess he's been in several films as well. Was set to start filming the studio's latest entry in the Harry Potter franchise, Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore. Oh, that's the one that just came out and flopped. Oh, okay. In London, where the shoot was halted in March 15th, 2020, due to the coup. Yes, exactly, because the world shut down March 16th, and still slow rolling coming forward. Okay, Jesus Christ. In the weeks after, Miller, who identifies as a fucking groomer, became a regular at bars in the Iceland capital, Reykjavik. Yeah, no, that makes sense, okay. And Iceland being the based place that it is, where they just allow women to get chokeslammed, like, oh my god, can I move? No, I'm just joking, okay. I'm not a creep like Ezra Miller here, but no, they didn't really close down everything all that much. But anyways, became a regular there, where locals came to know and even befriend him. Yeah, that's kind of his MO, where I'll just go and put some feelers out there to see who wants to join his cult, okay? Always just seems like an enigmatic figure. Oh yeah, no, that's Ezra. Yeah, he's like a movie star. Everybody likes him. He gets along with people. And then he eventually indoctrinates them into his cult, where they just don't they don't shower, and I don't know, they just roam about his farm like he's got a bunch of fucking feral bitches wandering his many acres. Sounds cool, but it's Ezra the Groomer Miller, and he likes to get his targets young, so why is he hanging around a bar? Unless Iceland's not exactly all that firm with upholding their legal drinking laws. Anyways, many recognized Miller from the earliest breakout movies, 2012, The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Ugh. How many hipster fashion style did that launch? Ugh. And 2011's We Need to Talk About Kevin. Well, guess what? Now they can make a sequel. Now we need to talk about Ezra. Oh, God. Where they played a troubled teen who brought a bow and arrow to school and murdered his classmates. Well, it looks like now he's just kind of traded that bow and arrow for a handgun now that he likes to carry and just whip out at a moment's notice. Miller, then 27, also started to show a different side, volatile side to their personality. Oh, right, because he uses they, them pronouns, so Variety, being the pieces of shit they are, will continue to keep up this charade, so it's not like I'm doing this on purpose. I'm just reading some of this shit and adding commentary over the top of it. There was always something with Ezra, said Carlos. This is a confused dude. Okay, I didn't think the Mexicans liked cold weather. Rainer. Then a bartender at Prico Kalfus, a pub located in the heart of Reykjavik. Rainer said the interview in and two altercations in Perico involving Miller. Okay. The first was a heated argument between Miller and a male patron that began as banter but ended in the actor putting a man in a chokehold. Wow, he actually does choke out men. He's probably significantly smaller than him. And later slapping him. All right. Rayner, who broke up the fight, says Miller later apologized and the other patron quickly shrugged it off as a joke. It's just a joke. It's a joke. The actor was allowed to continue frequenting the bar. We just brushed it off as friends getting drunk and getting into a fight. Yeah, it's Iceland. It happens twice a weekend. Yeah, exactly. And if that was it, that just would have been a funny story to tell somewhere inside the actor studio at some point in time or whatever. Let me tell you about the story about one time I got drunk in Reykjavik during the lockdowns and I choked a guy out and then we just laughed and had a couple of rounds after that. Nothing to see here. But the next altercation, in which Miller assaulted a young woman at the bar, was harder to discount. The incident grabbed global headlines with the footage of Miller placing a woman in a chokehold and then pushing her to the ground in the same chokehold that went viral in early of April 2020. Soon after the incident, Variety spoke to the woman Miller assaulted. Why is this the first time we're hearing about this? She recently confirmed that her comments could be printed for this article. Oh, she just wanted to shrug it off, but now because everything else is coming out. Okay, we're going to go into this just a little skeptically, but all right. But if this was an account of the event at the time and not kind of re-updating the testimony through just a lens of what's currently going on right now, okay, let's tread lightly here. She asked to remain anonymous out of the concern for her privacy. Well, we've seen the back of your head get slammed onto the ground, so whatever. As she's telling her story publicly for the first time. In the blurry video, Miller is seen confronting the woman, who is smiling and waving her arms as she walks towards them. Him. Fuck off. Oh, but watch me get Jordan Peterson for misgendering Ezra Miller. Fuck off. We're out of Pride Month. Do you want to fight? Is that what you want to do? Asks Miller, grabs her neck, and she lets out an audible gasp. The person filming the video stopped to intervene. Variety has confirmed, yes, is the most normal he's ever looked in literally anything. According to three sources, the woman had been speaking to Miller at the bar prior to the quarrel. She said she inquired about the actor's feet, visible in flip-flops. Yeah, and he's also wearing like a red trench coat, if I remember the video right. We went over this when all of this stuff started to break, okay? When he got mad at Hawaii police officers for misgendering him. Oh my god. Okay. After noticing some wounds, which Miller explained were battle scars from a fight that you'd show off in flip-flops. Okay, you weirdo. After discussing how he got... Did he just do the Joker thing with his feet? You want to know how I got these scars? She began to walk away, but turned around and joked. But so you know, I could take you in a fight, Miller replied. Do you really want to fight? And the woman told them to meet her in the smoking area in 2 minutes. Yeah, she's a pretty tall girl. Or maybe Ezra's not as tall as I think he is. It's like, they look like they'd be comparable. But even still, kind of a drugged out, wavy fuck can still, they handle a woman, so gender equalists BTFO'd. Eventually, Miller confronted her outside the bar. I think it's just fun and games, and then it wasn't. What, were you trying to throw down the back alley? Like, come on now. It's a sentiment echoed by another woman, Nadia. She previously requested that her first name be used out of concern of her privacy. Oh, okay, so I guess she's concerned, but like not that concerned. Okay. Who alleges in an interview with Variety that after a warm 2-year friendship with Miller, mostly via text message. I wonder how old she was when they first started conversing. Just wondering. The actor came to her Berlin apartment late one evening in February 2022 after invitation. They hadn't seen each other since they had consensual sexual encounter in 2020. But after a friendly interaction, Miller's mood sharply turned and he told them they couldn't smoke inside her home. Oh, this is where the grammar gobbledygook ends up coming out. Okay, Miller couldn't smoke inside the house and she immediately started to freak out because he's gotten away with everything else in his life. That just sent him off, Nadia said. I asked them to leave about 20 times, maybe more. They started insulting me that I'm a transphobic piece of shit. This is just after he bust a nut. Oh, okay, cool. So, can't smoke inside the house. You can go out on the balcony, you can go outside to smoke, but just don't smoke inside the house, probably because, you know, you're like a civilized human being. But, oh, and also a Nazi, because of course, these guys have one trick, okay? You're an ist, a phobe, or a Nazi. Great, wonderful. calling them communists. Dirty 100 million starving kids killed communists. It became so stressful for me. They were going around my house looking at everything, touching everything, spreading disease. Oh, tobacco leaves on the floor. What's the difference? It felt disgusting and very intrusive. Yeah, no doubt. You just have a crazy motherfucker probably walking around in some level of disrobe, and he's just touching everything because she knows where his hands have been. So it's like, don't get that on everything. Anyways, after roughly half an hour of pleading, Nadia said she finally convinced Miller to leave when she called the police. Yeah, no, you should have started that at least 30 minutes earlier. Knowing the German police and their track record, and it's like, oh, we got a white woman on the phone, and she said that she had a sexual encounter and her partner will not leave. Normally we just disregard these phone calls, but it was another white man who did it, so we decided to follow up. The incident left her deeply disturbed. It's his MO, but then, okay, so he flies off the handle, but you fucked him, so accountability at the end of the day. Okay, I don't really know how to leave you deeply disturbed. I just can't watch the Fantastic Beasts movies anymore. So can a whole bunch of other people for very different reasons. Mostly have to do with Ezra Miller. While she is clear that she never felt at risk of sexual assault for the night of the apartment, you're probably way too old for him. She believed the actor could somehow attack me physically. I totally felt unsafe. Well, you totally shouldn't be just dragging people into your house to fuck them. But again, I'm not a German. 5 people. 5 of them. 2 friends, a women's rights advocate. Ugh. See, he's also got an MO, okay? Right? Like, he likes to freak out just at a moment's notice. And he likes to go after the activist types. So, I'm starting to believe this story probably happened. But, again, oh man, I don't feel any sympathy for her, really. Like, you had a bad after-fuck experience, okay? You and literally everybody, so whatever. A German social worker, Nadia's German lawyer, told Variety that they spoke with Nadia, the 5 people, or are we talking about Ezra here? Soon after her alleged encounter with Miller. Oh, okay, glad you cleaned that up. And corroborated her account. Yeah, but they weren't there, so yeah. Anyways. In April, Nadia filed a criminal complaint about her experience, but then they're like, what's illegal about this? Well, I felt bad after the fact. Which Variety had confirmed with the German State Prosecutor's Office in Berlin. Okay, maybe there's different laws on the books in Germany, okay? I can understand that. He probably said Nazi, and that's verboten within the fatherland. Oh, for trespassing. Trespassing in that pussy, am I right, guys? No? Okay. Against Miller. Their office says that it has discontinued the proceedings since the actor is no longer in Germany. Okay, cool. So he trespassed. Somebody called the cops on him for trespassing, but because he's no longer here anymore, he's of no threat to be trespassing again. Okay. Just over a month after the alleged encounter with Miller, which was corroborated, so I don't really know how alleged it is, but whatever. Nadia saw news reports that the actor had been arrested half a world away in Hawaii. Yeah, we already know about that. Anything else about that? Nadia realized the pattern of her experience with the actor. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so, at the end of the day, with these accusations, Miller's still a creep, but... Okay, so he thought that he was going to be fighting that chick in the back alley, and it wasn't consensual. It was just going to turn into a fight, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. That's, like, wrong, but not for the way that Variety's trying to push it, and it's just like, okay, I'd understand if the bitch was just trying to, she was, like, slapping you, punching you, hitting you, kicking you, throwing stuff at you, and then you just give her one of those, or just, choke her down. It's like... I could see that. I wouldn't condone it, but then at the same time, you want to act like a man, you're going to get treated like a man, or a they, them, whatever. That story adds some clarification, but this whole, they were talking for a while. It's like, unless we got ages here, or something I should care about. He went crazy after you guys fucked. Great, wonderful. You must have some real top-tier pussy. Like, what? This is dogpiling at this point. Like... You got a whole lot more with, like they just surmise here, the Rolling Stone and also, the Daily Beast articles where he's a fucking groomer, okay, touching on young kids, okay? And we talked about that stuff at the time when it was coming out, so there's no point in rehashing that stuff. We'll just, move on, I suppose. I'll link to the article if you want to read through it for a little bit of a refresher, but I don't find anything new in this. As for Miller's future as a movie star, it's unclear whether they will continue to perform as the Scarlet Speedster in future projects, but Warner Brothers is still committed to releasing the $200 million budget tentpole. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're just hoping that all of this is going to blow over, but there's like restraining orders, like 2 of them. He's got 2 of them against him right now that are still waiting to be served because nobody knows where Ezra Miller is, or at least they can't find him. Or have they tried to go to his ranch in Vermont? Like, what's actually legally going on here? Okay, so Warner Brothers probably just holding on to that. And again, if it was just, like the beginning of a trilogy of Flash movies, you'd probably just can this one. But it's Michael Keaton coming back as Batman for the first time since Batman Returns. I think it's Returns, right? Like the early 90s. So that's a big thing. People have been looking forward to that, but unfortunately they got Ezra Miller. So fuck do you do with this? The thing that's, been done and finished since 2020. Okay. So I don't know, maybe they just pushed off releasing it after he was choking out a bitch in Iceland. And then all the whack shit he was doing, trying to call out and fight the KKK in North Carolina. Like, this dude just can't keep his nose clean. And maybe that's why all of this crazy shit is happening, because he can't keep his nose clean. We've just seen a bunch of, pot, okay, with his illegal pot farm in Vermont, which, again, if he's got that going, I don't know why DEA isn't knocking down his door. But, again, whatever. Like, Warner Brothers is definitely in a bind, right? It's nothing like the Amber Heard situation where, realistically, they could just do the whole Poochie thing where it's like, my planet needs me. I need to go now. But wait a minute, Mira, you're supposed to be underwater. It doesn't matter. I'm going to the sky now. Okay, bye. Now, the Flash is, imagine this, the main character of the Flash film, okay? And it's supposed to kind of clean up and kind of bridge between Zack Snyder's stupid fucking movie abomination, okay? Just get out of that and start pushing the new direction of the DC franchises. But I don't know, man. I think that this one just might end up getting cut out, because I can imagine this shit with Ezra is probably going to get worse, because realistically, if we're taking a look at all the claims, this one's like way fucking down there, okay? Like, if it wasn't Ezra Miller, I would pay this 0 fucking attention. But I guess it just kind of corroborates previous stories, because at least there were, criminal charges filed. Okay, his bad acts are on the record. So there is a little bit of help out there. So I don't know, let's just continue here. Yeah, I guess The Flash is supposed to hit theaters in June of 2023. Okay, so a year from now. You guys will forget all of this stuff by then, and it's not like things could get worse by then. Oof. According to sources with knowledge of the project, the film simply cost too much for the studio to scrap entirely. Yet, $200 million. This isn't Disney, okay? This is Warner Brothers, and they've had fuck up after fuck up after fuck up, and they ain't quite got all of that money out there. They're going to need something of a return on this one. And the fact that it's just been sitting for, at the time of release, it'll be like what? Like, this project has been in the works since, when did Justice League come out? Like the original, the first cut. Like, film's been sitting for the better part of a decade by the time of release. So you've had all the start-stop marketing. Like, this is going to have to make $500 million. But nobody's going to pay money to go see a groomer who might be in jail by then. Like, oh yeah, and yeah, it simply costs too much for the studio to scrap entirely, and reshooting with a new actor in Miller's role is simply cost prohibitive. Yeah, because I'd imagine he's probably in a lot of the scenes, and maybe just do some CGI on his face if things get too bad. Like, what's another $20-30 million to be doing that? Like, I don't know. Make it a comedy at the end of the day with just kind of like somebody with a big jelly face mask. Like, I don't know what you do after this. Like, it seems pretty fucked. Also, the film likely can't generate the revenues needed to turn a profit without a robust theatrical run, so putting the movie directly on HBO Max is also unlikely. All eyes are on Warner Brothers, however, as to how it continues to navigate the choppy waters surrounding Miller. The studio has already downplayed the actor's involvement in Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore, but don't worry, it already had enough controversy surrounding it, okay, because Johnny Depp's trial was just beginning as that was releasing, and public sentiment was well on Johnny Depp's side and continues to be, and he was recast for that film, okay. Unfortunately, Mads Mikkelsen, who's fucking awesome, had to reprise the role of Geralt Grindelwald, which Johnny Depp was playing. So yeah, that film was getting heat, and it didn't generate anything in the box office. So compound that with Ezra Miller, and yeah, no, it's the fucking dud. And it's amazing. It's amazing. How do you fuck up the follow-up franchise to fucking Harry Potter. Prior to the MCU, the most successful franchise on fucking Earth. And you take that gift, right? It's like a little puppy, okay? And instead of just walking it across the lawn or something, you're walking it across a gravel pit. And you know what? He gets a little rambunctious, and instead of just hopping out of your hand, you fucking spike the football and step on its head. That's what they did with this Fantastic Beasts series. It should have been good. It should have made billions of dollars, but it fucking sucks. Like, how do you fuck this up this bad? Warner Brothers is the dumbest, the absolute dirt worst company on fucking Earth. They don't deserve this, but they deserve something pretty close to it. But oh, okay, looks like we actually got some more cleanup when it comes to the lady in Iceland. Okay, so when Miller started showing up at the Priko Kaufhaus in Reykjavik, their unusual behavior was first chalked up to the eccentric whims of a visiting celebrity. They weren't lighting incense or candles, or even bringing their own Bluetooth. Oh, if they weren't lighting incense or candles or bringing their own Bluetooth speaker and playing super loud to overpowering our music, there was always something. Why would you allow that to continue? Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. Go. Oh, they actually got the video right there. Okay, so let's just for old time's sake. This time for old time's sake. Yep, grabs her by the throat and then brings her to the ground, and it looks like, yeah, at the time it kind of seemed like maybe everybody was in on it, but guess not. Okay, Rainier, the bartender, and Preco said, we'd approach them and say, hey, do you mind? There are other people here. It was a bit of a chuckle, and they would go, yeah, sure, but if you have to continue to do that, just don't allow them in, okay? You're causing a problem. Unless he's dropping, like, fat stacks, that would be equivalent to keeping everybody in the bar at the time, so, I don't know, you gotta weigh between the two, okay? But if they're, like, bringing their own candles and incense, like, you better start marketing him. It's like, listen, you're being a kind of a weirdo right here. We can give you control of the sound system if you want to do that. We can make it an atmosphere for the time being, so why not do that? But whatever. And then they would go, yeah, sure, and they'd stop only to continue a little bit later. Yeah, no, exactly. Use the puppy analogy again. It's like, oh, your dog just pissed on the ground, and then you take him outside to shit, and then you just give him a treat, and it's like you didn't really teach him anything, but whatever. The day Miller assaulted the woman at Preco in April of 2020, her initial interactions were similarly barbed yet easygoing feign. It was just a joke. It was just a joke. My friends didn't have to say the woman aloud. Oh, I'm sorry. They heard the actor didn't want to fight. Yeah, we're going outside, blah, blah, blah. I think it was just fun and games, but at the time it wasn't, she said. All of a sudden, they were on top of me, choking me, still screaming in my face if I wanted to fight. So this was after the video cut, because it's only 7 seconds long. My friend who's filming, they're obviously not joking, and it's actually serious, so he stops filming, pushes them off me, and he's still trying to fight me. Weird. 2 guys, friends of mine, were actually holding Miller back as he was screaming. This is what you wanted. This is what you wanted. Yeah, no, okay, dude. Go outside, and remember the beginning of the altercation here. Let's just run this back here real quick. Okay, it's not exactly the best looking picture here, but obviously she's just trying to square up. Like, this is not serious at all whatsoever. She's throwing her hands up. She's smiling, looking down at his feet, and then he goes right for the throat, because that's what a man does, I guess. Woman reported the incident to the police. The report was confirmed by Variety. Okay, good. So we got another incident, at least on the record, okay, but didn't press charges. Really? Why? Rainer was allowed to finish work early and took a COVID PCR test the next morning, which came back negative. He said, ugh. God, no, I'm feeling like I'm being choked. I do believe the incident at the bar was what ruined Miller's reputation thoroughly in Iceland. Yeah, no shit, and it did everywhere. They're like, what the fuck is this guy doing? It kind of made him a laughingstock at that point. They stopped coming to other bars shortly after. Yeah, exactly. The jig's up, and he's like, aha, now I'll just go around and assault random people at a daycare. I thought they were great to begin with. I talked about all kinds of spiritual things. No, that should be a big red flag to begin with. And went deep into philosophy. Oh, yes, exactly. like the philosophical roots of Rastafarian origins of Parcheesi, and how tribe is a very racist terminology. Oh, get fucked. The day the video of Miller tried to form a new word right there, Viller, choking the woman in Iceland went viral. Nadia saw it on her Twitter feed. She called them immediately. Ezra was in Iceland in a car with a friend. I could hear the friend, or maybe friends, I don't know, laughing, and Ezra was a very good mood. Ezra was like, don't worry, it was just a misunderstanding, it's nothing happened. Oh, okay. So he went from there to go fuck the German girl? Okay. So this is more on the German chick. She liked that Miller was interested in discussing society and spiritual things. Ugh, women are so fucking basic. Here's some more free game. Whenever a bitch opens up with, what's your sign? And I'm really into astrology. Recreational use only, boys. Steer fucking clear. Okay, rather than talking about the film industry or pop culture. It was refreshing, she said. Yes, because you also hang around with other basic idiots as well. Nadia asked Miller to exchange numbers. 5 minutes into the car ride back to the hotel, Nadia said she started receiving pretty adult X-rated text messages from Miller suggesting the two hook up. Okay. If you guys quote unquote caught a vibe or something like that, and he was just only in town for a little bit, and then he's like, hey, and texts her a picture of his dick, and it's like, what are we gonna do about this? That's one way to work game, I guess, but whatever. Which, by the way, was totally fine. There it is. So obviously, like, this guy's a master manipulator. Like, let's be honest, his seduction game is pretty top tier. Unfortunately, he uses it in just the most nefarious ways, okay? It's like the Robert Greene book. I got it over on my bookshelf. That's what I'm pointing to, by the way. 48 Laws of Power. Some people at the time thought it was an evil book. They banned it in, like, prisons and shit. People were going to use it for its Machiavellian undertones. And, oh my god, that's an evil book. Nobody should know about it. Yeah, there's 48 Laws of Power. A lot of them are extrapolated. You could realistically interpret it to be about 43, or probably, like, 53 to 55 laws of power, if we're being completely honest, but it's the 48 laws of power, okay? You don't need to use all of them, okay? He explicitly says on some of those, okay, that these are evil, don't be doing them, okay? But you should know their origins, you should know their underpinnings, you should know what those laws are about, so when somebody's using them on you, you know how to deflect it, because there's also different things in there. It just breaks down why this is successful, how people use it effectively, and how to deflect it. Okay, what are the downfalls of the different types of those expressions of power? Okay, so from just analyzing the different interactions that Ezra Miller has had with these people, obviously he's exploiting a mental weakness that he sees in his victims. Okay, comes on incredibly strong, right? Promises them the world. Oh, he's mystical, he's magical, he's a famous person. And then he withdraws quickly, okay? And then he comes back in with a different twist, okay? Then he starts to get violent and crazy. And then once that runs its course, and then he starts to back off and he just starts to be sweet and he starts to talk about society and philosophy. It's a dark form of game. I understand it and I know what he's doing here. And like it goes on here, which is, by the way, was totally fine. There was nothing abusive about it. I'm just not into texting like this, so she said, and I told him to stop, and then he stopped on the spot. So again, if it would have just stopped right there, there's nothing to complain about. There's nothing wrong with any of that stuff, okay? It was reciprocal up to a point, and it's like, I don't really sext, I just smash. And he's like, okay, I'm on my way over, and she's like, okay, here's my location. And as it says here, it turned her off so much, the two kept texting, and on Miller's last night in Los Angeles, they spent the night together. He was super caring, super nice, and laid it down super well, apparently. I had no reason to suspect anything bad was ever going to happen to them. Yes, exactly. He's weaving his web, getting you completely caught. I know that's a different superhero, but the analogy to game here. Anyways, over the next 2 years, Nadia said she and Miller continued to text each other, but every attempt to meet again in person was thwarted, either by their schedules, the pandemic, or both. It didn't really look like the pandemic stopped him from being a creep, so again, he's just playing the withdrawal game on this one. It's so fucking easy to see. After plans to spend Christmas 2021 together in London were foiled by Nadia's flight that was canceled 3 times, she began to worry about the strength of her connection with Miller. They'd been super nice to me, but it didn't feel good not to show up and to refuse the invitations. It was just running hot and cold game. It works. Depending on your audience, it can work on a lot of people. It can work on one specific target for consensual relationship, or you can flip it and do whole dark game by just running and exploiting certain weaknesses, okay, on vulnerable people. I thought maybe I've lost a friend because we've missed each other so many times. Yes, women are retarded. So with the Berlinale approaching in February of 2022, you're missing something. She invited Miller to visit her should they be in the city for the annual film festival. The actor recently wrapped filming on The Flash and Secrets of Dumbledore. Yeah, reshoots. Okay. Wasn't opening for another 2 months, so they had nothing to promote in Berlin. But one night during the festival, Nadia got a text from the actor at nearly 4 a.m. Yeah, buddy. But again, this is a groomer pedophile who, at this point in February of 2022, had already been grooming 12-year-olds, well, I guess 11-year-old at the time in Massachusetts, and then was also running his other game with the native girl. So again, this aspect, this texting game, this approach method, this seduction method is fine, but this is Ezra Miller. So again, just try to disassociate everything. You can learn things from evil people. It's just how you use it. Okay. I received a message like, hey, I've arrived in Berlin, but I might have to go tomorrow. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, no, exactly. Setting up a scarcity window. You've been away for a while. Okay, I'm only going to be here for a little while. What are we going to do about this? When they arrived, they were super nice, super polite, asking me if they could come in. She recalled when I said my house is shoes off, they had no problem taking their shoes off. Yeah, exactly, because he was going to be taking other things off as well. They talked. She gave them tea, vegetable soup. Then Miller began to roll a cigarette. I was like, yeah, you need to smoke that outside on the balcony. There's no smoking in the house. Miller kept rolling a cigarette. Nadia insisted they smoked outside. Instantly, their demeanor changed. And I'm quoting this word for word. She said, they started with, I'm a maker of planets. Tobacco is sacred. All right. Miller continued on the tirade. She said that they could do whatever they want, whenever they want. Aha, basically. See, I'd agree. I don't think that there's any lies in this story so far. Like, that whole I'm a maker of planets line. Also, knowing the other stories that surround Ezra Miller, that's totally something that he would say. Something that he probably thinks as well. Like, this dude's totally fucked. Okay. When Nadia stood up and insisted that the guests should honor their host's house rules, they looked at me, this really mean face, stern face, and told me to sit down like they were ordering a dog. Nadia told Miller as much. They replied and said, yeah, well, I'm talking to you like a dog. Again, it is just a different game. Okay. I was like, okay, talk to me like this. It's time for you to go. But Miller didn't. Instead, they escalated, accusing Nadia of being transphobic and a Nazi. I asked them if I told them I have a descendant of a Holocaust survivor. Jew! So why would they say that to me? She said. They answered, screaming at me, yes, but how many people of my family died? Because many people in their family died. I was like, okay. This is a game of who's got the most trauma. You were the one to pull the card first, so Nadia disengaged. Tried to throw him out, and again, police officers fall. Yeah, about nearly 30 minutes later, nearly 6 a.m. Nadia heard a loud banging noise at the front door of her apartment. When she looked outside, she could see Miller at the door, seemingly attempting to break it down. I've seen him. He's not knocking down anything that isn't, the plastic wrap. She said they were screaming that Nadia had stolen their passport and money. No, he probably just got high, dude, and fucking left it somewhere. At that point, Nadia realized that Miller had just texted her minutes earlier. But she said she didn't see the texts until days later when she reviewed them with a social worker. The social worker confirmed seeing the texts with Nadia. Okay. She said that I didn't feel safe, so yeah, all 5 sources who corroborated Nadia's account with Variety said that they spoke with her very soon after, in one case, the day after. Oh yes, very soon, the next day. Oh, okay, cool. Her alleged encounter with Miller. When did the police come into this one? So yeah, man, these accusations aren't quite as salacious as the other ones, but it still doesn't dismiss the fact that Ezra's kind of a creep. This is what would be in a court case, just kind of additional, like, extra evidence, okay? Contemporaneous evidence, cumulative evidence, really, if we're just trying to establish somebody's history of turning on a dime, okay, being an unreliable, paranoid, kind of spastic person. Obviously, fighting a bitch behind a bar. Yeah, that's probably not only frowned on, it's also probably pretty criminal. And she did go to the police on that one, so that's good. Okay, and then outside of not leaving when it says that you should probably leave and filing the trespassing charge against him, and then the police being like, I don't know what we can do on that one. He is kind of Jewish after all, and we've kind of got the history, and he's no longer in the country. So yeah, if we're looking at all of these accusations as some sort of a big Hollywood story at the end of the day, this is kind of the low point, okay? Like, these new accusations, yeah, they're something, but they aren't quite as explosive as the inciting event, or even just, you know, the follow-up event as well with the 11-year-old in Massachusetts. But I think we're building to something on this one, because again, this dude still hasn't been caught or served or anything like that, unless I've completely missed that, which I don't think so. I've done my homework on this one, but this dude needs to be stopped. He's fucking creepy, and I think I need to get this off the screen because he's fucking creeping me out, if we're being completely honest. I don't feel safe right now. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.